Hello friends, a warm welcome to you all to Impact Presents ProConnect. Hope you all are doing good. Impact extends its deep gratitude to our guest today for accepting our invitation. We are extremely delighted to introduce you all to Mr. Swapnil Joshi. He is a very well-known figure in the built industry. He is Industry 4.0 leader at Infosys, bringing in 17 plus years of experience in various leadership roles across strategy, design, delivery, and consulting. He has a prestigious technology background in automation, IoT in buildings, and application engineering for HVAC and building controls. He has been actively driving engineering standards, designing tools, and technology system redesign initiatives across business units in USA, Europe, and Asia Pacific regions. He is also a core member of Indian Arctic Program for Technology Solutions. He was a part of the leadership team for 34th Indian Science Expedition to Antarctica. He has been the program lead for Smart Buildings and IoT in Buildings, lead certification program, and his contributions has been felicitated by various prestigious awards like US GBC Leadership Award 2017 and 2020 for sustainability in buildings and many more. Swapnil, a warm welcome to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, Swapnil, to give you a backdrop, Impact recently hosted an online panel discussion on sustainability of smart spaces in India, a very crucial topic in building automation industry at present. To start our discussion today, I would like to know your views on how sustainability is no more a choice, but a necessity with respect to smart spaces in India.
Thank you, Adrija. These are conversations that I really enjoy, and the reason why I really enjoy is not because it is just a conversation, but because actioning this will essentially get us to an impact that we need to make today in the given context, and more importantly today when we all know that India is at a tipping point, right? So amongst the many catastrophic events across the world and in the country, the recent Nanda Devi glacier collapse, brings forth the urgency to mitigate climate change. Exciting new developments in sustainability practices globally have challenged the world to better their use of natural resources and focus on healthcare, education, culture, destitute care, and rural development to impact the lives of the poorest of the poor. When you look at it globally, the built environment represents the largest impact opportunity for transformative climate action. Amongst all end-use sectors, the building sector plays a central role for a zero-carbon future. We all know that buildings globally already account for more than 40% of the global greenhouse gas emissions. The building operations account for roughly 28%, and embodied carbon emissions from materials and construction accounting for 11%. In the Indian context, we are the world's fourth largest economy, third largest global greenhouse gas emitter, and the fourth largest electricity consumers. It is estimated, or it was estimated that 700 million square meters of commercial building space was added over the last 10 years, and the projections are that 40% of the building stock that will exist by 2037 is yet to be built. It is therefore imperative that sustainability forms a core of our thought process, and that we use digital technologies to achieve our ESG goals. It also means that we create spaces that are instrumented, interconnected, and intelligent.
That was very well explained, Swapnil. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Could you also explain how energy optimization plays a key role in sustainability of smart spaces?
Yeah. Buildings contribute significantly to GHG emissions. Half of the emissions are attributable to embodied carbon emissions, and half of them to operational carbon emissions. It is therefore important that we focus our efforts on energy efficiency to reduce our carbon footprint. We look at energy efficiency in two buckets. One, when we start looking at new construction buildings, and the other when we actually go in and look at our existing building stock. So when we look at energy efficiency by design for new buildings, we need to inculcate passive design technologies such as focusing on building shape and orientation, optimum wall to window ratio, insulated walls and roof, ensuring that we have daylit spaces with efficient windows, and then also focus on ultra efficient system design and use efficient technologies like radiant cooling, which is 30% more efficient when it comes to HVAC, coupled with smart building systems to manage and monitor these new technologies. When you look at the existing building stock, it is important for us to focus on retrofits. When we talk about retrofits, we need to look at the systems that go into the building, right? So we need to look at chillers, your AHUs, pumps, blowers. We need to look at ways and means to convert air-cooled systems into water-cooled systems. We need to look at heat pumps. We need to look at lighting, both internal, external. We need to look at UPSs and battery rooms, data centers, server rooms. We need to inculcate cool roofs. We need to look at our central utilities, and we also need to look at the way your building facades operate within an existing stock. It is important that we also look at all of these energy efficiency measures holistically, and energy efficiency thereby would be the first step in the carbon neutral journey for our buildings.
That was extremely informative, Swapnil. Thanks for the insight.
Thank you.
I'm sure this is going to inspire all building automation professionals who are watching this program. Now, moving ahead, there's always a tough decision for building owners of existing buildings, right? On one hand, there's high energy usage, and on the other, there's a high retrofitting budget. Which one to choose and which one is going to prove beneficial in the long run? That is the question. Would you like to explain this to us? And also let us know more about how existing buildings can achieve energy optimization in an efficient manner.
Yeah, so this is a question that I encountered, every alternate day. Any conversation that we have around energy efficiency comes back to us, where we talk about high energy usage, and then we also talk about the high retrofitting budget, right? The answer for this question is simple, right? And thankfully, the interventions that we need to make are not complex in nature. So when we calculate the total cost of ownership, right, 90% of the value is attributed to operational and maintenance cost, while energy spending accounts to roughly 50% of this of this O&M cost. There are tools that exist today, such as the life cycle carbon assessment tool and the life cycle costing tools, that when they are best performed early, can help us leverage the benefits during the design phase and ensure a reduction in the life cycle cost. Energy efficiency in existing buildings by virtue of retrofits is possible, right? The return on investment could anywhere be between 3 years to 5 years, depending on the kind of intervention that you make. It is important that we focus on chillers, your AHUs, your pumps, your blowers, look at UPSs and battery rooms, data centers, look at ensuring that you employ simple technologies like cool roofs, which essentially take care of the incident sunlight onto your building, and also look at building facades during the kind of retrofits. There are also interventions that can happen within the building space. So when you're retrofitting a building space, you can put in internal life shells. So including passive design technologies even during retrofits is possible. It's only the way in which you use the tools that are available to ensure that your buildings have an EPI that's the best in the industry. Technology plays a very important role in ensuring that energy efficiency is achieved, right? It is imperative that we put in smart building systems, and these are the systems that integrate energy and water consumption across buildings at the granular level. This helps us to optimize several parameters for efficient building operations. Smart buildings today are equipped with inbuilt artificial intelligence and energy saving algorithms to continually optimize operations in real time, as well as build diagnostics. So if you follow a process, a design methodology that inculcates sustainability, the total cost of ownership can definitely be brought down.
Wow, that was absolutely wonderful. Now, Swapnil, there are a lot of existing challenges, right, that are there in the industry regarding sustainability of smart spaces. Since, Swapnil, you are here today, we would like to know from you, how can we overcome them?
Yeah, so again, the real estate landscape is changing, right? And this change is driving complexities. We are moving from what used to be single buildings to multi-tenant buildings to campuses to smart cities. So we need to invest in a confluence of technologies that has a major impact on our real estate value chain. In addition to that, adoption of standards, frameworks, and codes for our designs, the ones that provide clear guidelines of design and evaluating performance, and are based on parameters that relate to a building environment that is green, safe, and productive, need to be included. This is possible through collaboration between different elements in the built environment, which will help us achieve synergetic transformation to achieve net zero by 2050.
That was quite interesting to know. Amazing. Now, moving forward, I would like to know from Swapnil, what is the role of interoperability and usage of standardization in the journey of old and existing buildings towards sustainability?
Yeah. Voluntary sustainability standards, of which green certification is a subset, are tools that can serve several functions, and they have played a pivotal role in driving sustainability across a wide range of sectors. These standards have proven to be instrumental in providing a common frame of reference to facilitate discourse and awareness, incentivize adoption of sustainable practices, mobilize investments, and promote transparency, assurance, and traceability in the built environment supply chain. We see a synergetic transformation in the use of open standards and protocols coupled with environmental sensitivity across stakeholders. Right? I mean, business models today are evolving, and these models and supply chains are sensitive to wellness, resource efficiency, as well as enhanced user experiences. Digital transformation of real estate is facilitated by use of standards, and this happens from design to operations, and that's the key. Single converged networks with predefined and flexible KPIs, data models that establish single sources of truth, are certain aspects that are facilitated through standardization and interoperability.
Wonderful. Now, Swapnil, how do you think Impact can facilitate this process?
Yeah, it is important that there is an integrated community of all stakeholders that adopt an integrated approach to fiscal, economic, and infrastructure policy. Additionally, we need to include an approach that reaches across different governance levels, increase the coherence of policy and planning, and deepen the existing policy to sustain political and economic momentum required to achieve 100% sustainability. Institutions like INBAC are therefore the keystone in this process.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you, sir. Now, as we are nearing the end of this discussion, I have a surprise for our viewers. An awesomely interesting rapid fire round with Swapnil. To start with, if you have to answer in one word, Swapnil, what would be your response to what aspects will make a building sustainable? What aspect actually? You just need one word.
Building design, operations, and maintenance.
What's the primary indispensable aspect you want your building to have?
The buildings need to be sustainable.
Okay, then next is primary challenge in Indian building automation market.
Okay,
just one word.
Building commissioning.
Super. Okay. Now, if you have to categorize these aspects in order, how would you do it? First is to improve longevity of buildings. So there are three things: interoperability, energy optimization, and data-driven. How would you categorize?
2, 3, and 1.
Okay. Three major aspects that can turn an existing building into a smart one.
Instrumented, interconnected, intelligent.
Wow. absolutely amazing. You are doing really well. So now the last round. You have to say what comes to your mind just when I say a particular word. First is technology.
Data.
Flexibility.
Buildings.
Seamless.
Design.
All right. Transformation.
Built environment.
Super. Secure.
Spaces.
Okay. Boost economy.
Sustainability.
Wonderful. Fantastic. You are a rapid fire champion, Swapnil, I must say this. But it's really unfortunate that we don't have a gift hamper for you.
Okay, no problem.
All right. So to conclude our session today, I really want to thank Swapnil wholeheartedly for bringing in the deep insights. I'm sure our viewers loved every bit of this discussion.
Thank you so much.
A well-connected, data-driven and interoperable smart space will be sustainable and energy efficient in the long run. So on that note, I would like to say a goodbye to Swapnil and our friends today. See you all next week, friends, with yet another inspiring story. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.